Hello everyone and welcome back to a brand new video where today we return with round 14 of season 2 of our F123 My Team career mode. Yes, we're back this weekend after the summer break for the Dutch Grand Prix. Of course, if you missed out yesterday's video, the sprint weekend from Belgium, I would highly recommend going back and check it out. Of course, we've been in quite a development race so far this season. Hopefully within the next few races, we're going to get confirmation of some rule changes for season 3. You can see more and more upgrades in the works. Sadly, we had a couple that failed, which we've got to try and earn some R&D for to get them ready on the car for next weekend there. But yeah, trying to get some power upgrades as well before we head to the Temple of Speed Monza next weekend. Now, of course, championship-wise at the moment, we're still in P8. We're locked into that battle of best of the rest with Oscar Piastri, but Aston Martin are pushing on well, so we are starting to struggle in that regard. They're 5th overall in constructors. It is quite a tall order to try and stay ahead of Alpine at the moment, and Lando Norris doing a lot of fantastic work over at McLaren as well there. But yeah, of course, if you're new around here and you're enjoying this series, make sure you leave a like, get yourself subscribed to the channel. Daily F123 My Team until we win that World Championship. And at the moment, safe to say we've got a long way to go before we win that crown. But yeah, heading back to the Dutch Grand Prix this weekend, though, of course, now with the new handling model, a very, very enjoyable track inside F123. Last season's race here was a bit of a nightmare, though, so hopefully this weekend can go better. Right, well, might have to take some grid penalties then this weekend when we jump into qualifying. Saying that, Zandvoort isn't really a power-sensitive circuit, is it? We may as well try and save those components for next weekend out. ICE and gearbox looking fairly touch and go at the moment, but they should be able to make one more weekend inside F123. We've got no track acclimatization on that this weekend, so it is all about just jumping in with tyre wear and race sim runs. So hopefully we can try and get up to speed around this venue once again. Of course, very, very technical circuit as well to try and get these targets done. And tyre wear is often actually quite high around Zandvoort as we head over the top of the hill. They're so fun now that you can actually feel the ground effect working. And Zandvoort is absolutely one of those circuits that's been revolutionised by the handling model. You know, it's some fairly minor tweaks and changes to the way the cars handle inside F123, but you know, I tell you what, so much improved around tracks like this. Is making our way then in towards the final corner. Are we going to be able to get the score back up? Are we going to be able to get the delta back down? Lots of questions to be decided there, and nothing you can do through that final corner. And we're not even going to hit the delta either. And there we go, second time round. We're going to be able to get the delta, the tyre life back to where we want it. But 7 tenths away now from the delta, so able to recover a couple of tenths in the final couple of corners. This is difficult. Yeah, we're just not able to do this, quite simply. Taking all 3 laps possible. And we're still going to be 6 tenths away there as we head out of the final corner. We can get the delta, we can get the time. We just can't do both in one go. Our final run then here in free practice. Let's try and make sure we get this lap nailed then, so we can go into the rest of the weekend with a little bit more confidence under our belt. Race sim run should hopefully, if I remember correctly, it's not too much of a challenge around this venue. Being said though, we couldn't get the tyre wear delta, so let's wait and see. Our first lap was still going to be tight on the delta in the end, but it is going to be green. Yeah, this is a tough old track, don't forget, and it's also near impossible to say battery round here. There's very, very few big braking zones around this Dutch GP. Come on, out of the final corner. We're not even going to get the delta down again. We are really struggling here, 1.5 tenths away. This has been a rough free practice, but yeah, Zandvoort, it's a tough old challenge, this place. Well, after one of the toughest free practice sessions I think we've ever had in this series on F123, now as we jump into qualifying, we need to try and get on with it, and we need to get fast and fast quickly. I made a few more setup tweaks to hopefully extract a little bit more pace out of the car, but yeah, how big of a difference is it going to make here? Zandvoort is another one of those tracks that just exposes weak cars inside F123, so all we can really do is absolutely ring this thing and hope that we can try and find some time there, as that's pretty aggressive through the first couple of corners, but nice throttle as we head out of the hairpin. I know I always say it, but I would love for the high line to be the way to go around that corner in the future. over the top of the hill. 6th gear there, turning slightly early, so I have to blend the throttle, try and push the nose back away from the grass. Just a little bit hesitant to make our way through the next couple of turns there. See, we are down a little bit on power. There are still some power-sensitive areas to this circuit, but it's definitely not a power-hungry venue, as what's the time's going to be like relative to Hulkenberg. Pretty much even by the time we get to the end of Sector 2. I wish it would show you P16 rather than just a random car a few places ahead of you. But in towards the final couple of turns, we'll go leave it in 5th gear there, really try and carry the speed off of the corner out of the final turn. Keep it down on the right-hand side there. Shortest run to the line. And what is the time going to be? It's a 9.4. 300ths away from Yuki Tsunoda. But Lawson, not even in last place. But there's about a 1/10 of a second covering Teo Porcher up in P15, all the way down to myself in P19. But Valtteri Bottas as well. I'm expecting the Alfa Romeo to be able to try to improve. First lap was pretty complete though, I won't lie. It was much better than I was expecting for a bit of a banker here. So going to have to really, again, drag everything we possibly out of the car there, as I did not know there was a sandpit on the exit of the final corner. Tell you what, that's been one of the most complete laps I've done on F123. It's a shame the car's struggling so much around this venue. Out of the final corner, up towards the line. Will it be enough? I don't think it is. It's a 109.32. P18 in the end. It is so tight between so many cars. And there we go, Lewis Hamilton into the 107s there in that Mercedes. That is absolutely nuts come the end of Q1, but it wasn't good enough to see us through there. I mean, Liam Lawson only 2/10 away from myself, but I mean, you look all the way down from what? Alex Albon in P13 there, half a second from him down to Lawson at the back of the field. It is very, very tight here at the Dutch Grand Prix, so hopefully we can try and fight our way through come race day Sunday, and looks like we're going to be starting alongside my old friend Teo Porcher.
For years, the passionate Dutch fans have been easy to find trackside in races across Europe. Here this weekend, it's even easier to find the Dutch fans as they have a race to call their own once again. A warm welcome to all of our viewers in the Netherlands and around the globe, of course, as we get underway for the Dutch Grand Prix. 4 lefts and 10 rights make up the 14 corners of the narrow and demanding Zandvoort circuit, with plenty of peaks and valleys over the course of the 2.6-mile lap, which will demand absolute concentration from our drivers here today. Before we begin, let's take a quick look at the grid lineup for today's race. What a qualifying yesterday for George Russell. He'll start today's race from pole position, and it's Lewis Hamilton alongside. Looking down the rest of the grid, we have Leclerc, Sainz, Perez, Verstappen, Magnussen, Gasly, Norris, Ocon, Oscar Piastri, Stroll, Albon, Bottas, Joe, Sargent, Teo Porcher, Mr. Monaco, De Vries, Tsunoda, Hulkenberg and Liam Lawson. Which of these talented drivers will come out on top today? And with me today, of course, is Natalie Pinkham. Let's talk about Mr. Monaco. What do you make of their performance so far this season?
Well, the atmosphere within the team seems very positive at the moment. Everyone seems like they're in great spirits and having a lot of fun doing what they do. And that has definitely contributed to the performances we've seen.
Okay, we've got that relief of having points on the board finally, so let's keep that form up and get another top 10 finish today, please.
We've had that relief since round 1 of the season, Mark, but there we are. Mark just doing Mark things still inside F123. In terms, though, of today's race, going to be quite a big push today. You know, we're going to have to try and go aggressive on the strategy. Last season here, we had a couple of safety cars. Might or might not have been of my fault. Just the way the racing goes sometimes. But yeah, hopefully today we can try and have a bit of a turnaround, of course. A lot of cars struggling around this venue. It really is a track that exposes both car and driver here. So we can just do what we can do. I reckon we can still get ahead of the Alfa Romeos and the Williams if things go our way. Right, we're getting ready then for the start of the Dutch Grand Prix. Trying to get as much heat into those tyres as we possibly can. We know just how important tyre temperature is, and we also know just how difficult it is not to overwork the tyres early on in a stint. So we're going to have to try and be calm. We're going to have to try and be measured today, but still want to be aggressive off the start. 5 red lights here in Zandvoort. Lights out, and away we go. Or not going for Teo Porcher there, as it looks like, as we head down towards someone. Zhou Guanyu and Bottas almost coming together there, as Ocon very, very slow off the start as well. Will die to the inside of Logan Sargent. I love the fact you can actually use that curb on F123 there. Sargent, though, will swoop back around the outside to make our way in through the next couple of corners there, around the outside of the Williams again. This time around, should be able to hook it up as we'll get the power down on the exit of the corner there. So Albon up a couple of places. Bottas losing the spot to his teammate there, as Ocon having a bit of a nightmare off the getaway here. He's going to try and defend from Zhou Guanyu, and that's going to concertina him all up a little bit as we head down the hill. That's a lot of curb. We haven't got away with that. A little bit of rally cross as we make our way, out of Sector 1, and all those places I gained, and a little bit more there, just getting away from me through the first couple of corners there. Just, tipped it in way too early. Was expecting the dirty air to be a lot more effective than it was, and just could not quite get the car where I needed it, as Lawson eyed up a move down the inside there. Hulkenberg dropping to last place off the start of this GP, and that AlphaTauri driver has, really, I reckon that second AlphaTauri car's cursed at the moment. We'll wait and see, of course, what Daniel Ricciardo can do with it in real life over the next few weekends. But George Russell leading the way at the end of that one there. Mercedes, this track seems to suit their car if qualifying's been anything to go by, as Nyck De Vries, it's basically a metaphor for his F1 season, wasn't it? Going straight on when he was meant to be going into a corner there down at turn 1, and the local boy will lose the spot to myself. I guess the best way to describe that start then here at Zandvoort has been frantic. A lot of moving around by a lot of cars, and of course the Dutch Grand Prix, a proper old school circuit. There really aren't many other venues on the F1 calendar like this place. There's a lot that's difficult to overtake on. There's a lot where it's very, very tight to navigate, but there aren't, really any, I'd say, that are like Zandvoort in terms of a combination of both those things, but also high speed. It's weird, the Dutch Grand Prix, so there's just no really big braking zones around this venue. Like, the biggest one you've got is either down here or down into turn 1, which is odd, to say the least. But makes overtaking quite difficult. That being said, though, Mercedes romping away at the front of the field, so I think they're looking to not get overtaken today once at all, as Ferrari and Red Bull still duking out behind them. And once again, are we starting to see Red Bull struggling a bit in the development race against those Ferraris, against those Mercedes? We see them come on strong last season. Are we going to see the same thing again, where Red Bull may be focusing too much on next year's car a bit too early? And maybe that could happen in real life, but I'm less convinced that could be the case. Now, Logan Sargent definitely starting to struggle to match the pace of the cars in front of him, but I'm just not convinced Tsunoda's going to be able to get a run anywhere. Ooh. Running on lap 5, we can't start overworking the rubber just yet, as Tsunoda thinks about it down into the chicane on the Williams in front of him. Tsunoda is another driver that I'd love to potentially get into the second car at some point in the future, especially, of course, with our Red Bull powertrains / Honda affiliation there. Maybe it's worth trying to get him out of the Red Bull program there, as here goes Tsunoda then to the inside of Logan Sargent as we head back up in towards the first corner there, and this one looks like a fairly done deal. No, it doesn't. Whoa, almost 3 wide there as poor Chair had to slam on the anchors. Sargent will somehow hang on to it. Here we go, Tsunoda on Sargent, round 2. So this time around, Yuki trying to go the long way around the outside there, and hats off Yuki Tsunoda. Ballsy little move there from our feisty young Japanese driver, and he'll make it round the American. We're going to try and get a run at the first couple of corners. Are we going to be able to try and find the speed to do something against Teo Porcher there as we head up the hill? Around the outside of Teo on the grass. We're going to get all the marbles, and no chance there. Well, Zandvoort does have famously quite a short pit lane inside F123, so I'm really debating already whether a 2-stop could be the way to go. Go on to a set of mediums now, try and undercut our way past Tsunoda, Sargent and Porcher there. I mean, Sargent might now lose the DRS to Yuki in front of him. And then, of course, hope that we've got the pace towards the end of the race. I mean, unless we get a safety car, I don't think points are really on the table this afternoon either. So it might be worth the gamble, as here goes Porcher then on Logan Sargent. Yep, Sargent has lost the DRS, so we'll wait and see how this pans out over the next 2 laps or so. See if Porcher can actually get a run past him, and then maybe we can try and find a way around the Williams as well there, as he really is just causing quite the train at the back of the field at the moment. Here goes Teo Porcher then to the inside, no, to the outside of Logan Sargent as we head back down in towards turn 1. And will the Haas be able to hook it up in a similar move to what Yuki Tsunoda was able to? Yes, he will there, as we get a huge snap of oversteer through the midway stage of the corner. And Nyck De Vries will try and say thank you very much. Can we go on the offensive back past the McLaren car? Don't want to keep losing places when we're trying to make moves forward there, as all over the diffuser of the McLaren. And I think, yeah, we've worked these tyres too hard early on. Tempted to box the end of this lap, take a set of mediums to about lap 25, and then take another set of softs to the end, as, yeah, our car's now 20th. Come on, and 21st. I'm sure it won't be long before Nyck De Vries tries to make a move on Logan Sargent, but yeah, getting a bit too frustrated, stuck behind all these cars at the moment. So into the pit lane we'll go. It said 55, but apparently we slowed down enough there as someone else into the pit lane then. That's Pierre Gasly already bolting on a set of mediums. Same for Carlos Sainz, so they must be trying to two-stop this thing as well. So it'll be interesting to see how they get on. 2.4 seconds stop, that's pretty good. And yeah, I mean, you only lose, what, about 15 seconds? Less than that, maybe, in a pit stop here. So now, we've just got to try and push on. I'm really just trying to get some laps under our belt early on. These mediums are feeling very, very nice to race on after that wrecked set of the soft compound tyres. But yeah, Pierre Gasly isn't exactly a driver I associate with being stupidly quick in this series. Neither do I associate that Alpine with the same kind of phrases, but yeah, he's just romping away from me still. Of course, pit at the same time as Pierre, so it goes to show just how much the car's struggling this weekend. And maybe Monza will be a bit of a turnaround for us, but Singapore again, just like last season, I'm not looking forward to until we get those track changes. Nyck De Vries then, car into the pit lane. Teo Porcher as well there, a little bit further up the road as that was ragged through the final couple of corners. There is no room for error around this venue, but all of these cars then going on to a set of hard compound tyres to see them through to the end of the race. And look at that, we are going to get the jump then on all of them by the time we make it to turn 1, so that's quite important then. We need to try and just continue building up this gap over Porcher and Tsunoda if we want any chance of fighting them again on the counter at the end of the race. Hulkenberg into the pit lane as well then, as yeah, still miles away from Albon or those Alfa Romeos, so it very much seems like a weekend where some of our youngest drivers, least experienced drivers, have struggled. There's only so much I can do around this track, Mark. There's quite a lot of gear changes, funnily enough. There we go. Liam Lawson, one of the last cars into the pit lane. As well as... oh yeah, Logan Sargent, of course, still waiting for him, weren't we? So they might go... No, they're going hard still, apparently, by the looks of it. So we've just got to try and now get these tyres to about the end of lap 24, end of 25, and then go soft towards the end, where hopefully we can absolutely fly. Yellow flags out, I can just see at the corner of my eye. Looks to be an Aston Martin, I think, going slowly as one of the Ferraris dives into the pit lane. And safety car now will be absolutely beautiful for us. There, I would assume it's Oscar Piastri then pulling over to the wayside. But yeah, give us safety car now was, whoa, Teo Porcher there, big dive down at the hairpin. Probably should have given him a little bit more room, but we hang on. We hold firm in our defence there. Don't think he had enough of the car alongside to really warrant the lunge. But Kevin Magnussen out of the Dutch Grand Prix, and how wonderful would a safety car then have been, or even better than that, of course, a red flag. As Porcher jumped me in the yellow flag zone? That looked like he did. Teo Porcher, surely he's got a penalty coming his way.
Okay, clear.
Get a horrible run off the corner though, Teo Porcher, so we're going to go side by side as we head back up the hill, and maybe he did just let me back past then because of the illegal overtake. Not too short, 6 seconds up to Albon up the road though. He is still wringing everything out of that Williams. Tsunoda and Porcher then having a round 2 behind me to make our way through turn 1. I mean, if they keep battling towards the end of the afternoon, that could work out wonderfully for myself. Of course, because we're going to be trying to take bags of time out of them in the dying stages. We're going to need to be going nearly 2 seconds a lap faster than Porcher and Yuki if we want to try and get back to him, and that's only if I don't let him pass before we pit. And Tsunoda again, round 2 this time round. He'll get to the inside of me. We'll try and squeeze him. Yeah, back to the racing line there, late on the brakes, trying to really swoop through turn 1, but Yuki Tsunoda, he's got fresher tyres than myself, still side by side. So we head into turn 2 there, and we'll use that curbing on the outside as a little bit of extra track width. And again, this is how much we need to try and hang on to this position, because we know at the moment, if we let him by giving him free time, it's not a battle for points or anything, but there is still some pride on the line. Yeah, definitely think we might actually be again running just a bit too much wing around this venue. So Silverstone we ran too much, Belgium we didn't run enough, and then Zandvoort looks like we're running slightly too much again. As this time around, Yuki Tsunoda to the outside of myself through turn 1, still side by side as we make our way through turn 2 and turn 3. Can we swoop through on the high side? No, but we do get a switch on the exit. That must have been millimetres away from the AlphaTauri's diffuser there, but there was definitely no contact. And Yuki Tsunoda must be getting very, very upset by this at the moment. Whoa, that won't be though.
Okay, listen, don't worry about it, mate. It can happen to the best of us. Now look, I've put a new strategy option for you in the MFD, so go and have a look.
Nyck De Vries, man. How can he see a car rejoining the circuit there and just not give us any room at all? I've only just realised as well we're running agonisingly low on fuel. Why? Why is it Nyck De Vries so often as well? Like, we hop across the gravel, we try and get back on the road, and he's literally given me no space. Oh, great. Rear wings damaged as well. Dearie me. That is looking like one wrecked F1 car.
Okay, copy that.
This is... F123, man. Like, I think we're starting to expose some of the holes in this game. Get it slowed down. It still says I can't even see what speed I'm doing into pit lane. Dearie me. Dearie me. I mean, are we going to get safety car? Could we get anything like that later on in the day? I mean, these soft tyres won't go to the end, will they? I can't repair the rear wing. Did we just try and claim fastest lap?
Okay, mate, that's it. Go. Perfect job on the
Oh, we're a lap down as well.
Nice stop time. We're happy with that one.
And there's no way I'll get fastest lap, because that's pretty much what we did in qualifying. But, I mean, how bad is this rear wing damage going to be then, as we'll let George Russell by? So Hamilton, I mean, yeah. I'm not saying I know exactly what's going to happen, but I feel like we're probably going to spin again at some point quite soon.
Okay,
didn't expect it to be that quick.
And let the car behind through.
I mean, we're under on fuel, so I don't get how we're using so much fuel around this venue. As got to let Charles Leclerc by as well then, off of the first, well, onto the DRS zone. Yeah, I think we know this race is basically over for us, isn't it? And after a nightmare last season, again, another collision here at the Dutch Grand Prix. We'll let the Red Bulls by. Do not want to upset the home crowd. Because, yeah, Max Verstappen will swoop through. Lando Norris, again, having another race of it. But, yeah, you can't do anything with the rear wing damage, especially with almost half a race to go here from Zandvoort. But, yeah, Nyck De Vries, no mercy there. We make the mistake, we clip the curbing, and it throws us off into the gravel trap. And the McLaren driver, even I should say. So we try and hop back on. Come on. No room given at all. You can see how impossible this thing is to drive, though. Yeah, this thing is completely undrivable. And, well, without quickly things can turn around inside F123. Another weekend, another bit of a disaster there. I mean, we're down on fuel as well. I don't know how bad the engine wear was going to be towards the end of this race, but it was always going to be an uphill battle. And when... Whoa! Hang on a minute. Yeah, we can't even make it through the... Oh, I keep pressing the wrong button as well, but... I don't know what Mark's listening to, but... Yeah, that's... Oh, I don't get F120. It's broken now. The MFD's... I can't even... Sorry? I can't even do anything on this game at the moment, but yeah, that's going to be us out of the Dutch Grand Prix there. Nyck De Vries, man. When are you going to lose that F1 drive? That's what I want to know. You can't even take the tyre off properly.
We need to try and put that behind us, though, and finish the race strong.
Yeah, Mark, we're a lap down to everyone. The dream is dead.
Many doubted whether they could pull off the win here in Zandvoort, but they've done so in spectacular style. So, Natalie, what do you think helped them deliver this result?
I really feel the track layout, combined with the track temperatures we saw today, suited their car. These cars come alive when the tyres are just at the right temperature, and the driver did a great job managing that as well. They just look so comfortable out there. It's like anything, it always looks so easy when it all just clicks.
After an excellent performance at the Grand Prix, I'm sure there'll be plenty of celebrations tonight amongst the Mercedes team, and they certainly deserve it. Let's see how the driver's standings have changed. Well, that lead at the top has somewhat shrunk today. Let's focus on the driver of the day. Natalie Pinkham, come on, who do you pick?
Often, my go-to would be a driver who's managed to pull off an especially impressive feat during the race. However, in this instance, I was more impressed by Max Verstappen's solid, clean driving throughout the event.
It's time to check out the constructors' standings. And pulling further ahead in the standings, it's Red Bull. There was also a strong showing from the Mercedes team today as they make their way up the standings. I'm equal parts exhausted and elated with this weekend of Formula One, so be sure to join us for the next one.
Well, there we are then, the end of the Dutch Grand Prix there, and George Russell taking home another win for Mercedes. Are they back after the summer break there? Max Verstappen ahead of Sergio Perez there. Leclerc down to P5, so must have had some issues towards the end of the race. There was Sainz on the 2-stop in 6th place. Lando, Ocon, Piastri and Albon took a point for Williams there. What a good job done by him, as you can see. But yeah, myself and Magnussen both not able to make it to the checkered flag. Curse you, Nyck De Vries, is all I'm going to say on that one. Championship-wise, though, the Dutchman's lead at the top of the table, down to 51 points then. There's George Russell now up into P2, I think, for the first time this season there. And I mean, yeah, 28 points covering from George all the way down to Lewis Hamilton. The fight between Max is getting spicy, but they are all closing in on the Dutchman one by one there. Will he have enough if they keep taking points out of each other? That is the real question there. We're still in 8th, though. Lando Norris with more points, though. Only 20 back now, as Oscar Piastri 6 points clear in front of me at the moment. Any other movers further down there, I suppose. Albon, I mean, more points for him takes him further ahead of Lance Stroll there. And constructors-wise, 2 points now, the gap between us and Alpine. We desperately need more of these upgrades going on the car. I really do feel like we've hit a bit of a rough patch inside F123 at the moment. But we will come back stronger. We will hopefully come back faster as well. Thank you all so much for watching as always. And yeah, we'll be back tomorrow at the Temple of Speed. If ever there was a track where I fancied my chances, surely Monza is that circuit.